Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday, May 11th. Quite a remarkable weekend in terms of a cold air outbreak. Many areas in the eastern and central U.S. had daily record lows. Some places had the lowest temperature ever recorded in the month of May. There was some snowfall. Some places had the latest measurable snowfall. Quite a remarkable cold air outbreak on Saturday and Sunday morning. This is the map from coolweather.com that shows all those areas that had near record lows or actual record lows, and for the most part the eastern half of the nation here on Saturday morning. Very, very impressive cold air outbreak. Not only surface temperatures but also in the lower and middle part of the atmosphere. There were some temperatures set for the month of May at 500 millibars, for example. That's the middle part of the atmosphere, about 18,000 feet, and that tells you how deep this cold air outbreak was, this cold air mass was, from the surface all the way up to the middle and upper part of the atmosphere. This is Saturday morning. Now let's take a look at Sunday morning. And here it is, not quite as extensive, but still extends all the way from New England down into the Gulf region here, and a smattering of near record lows or record lows up across the Central Plains as well. So again, quite a remarkable weekend, and looks like we're going to flip at the end of this week to a more summer-like pattern. So we go from the winter chill in the central and eastern U.S. to summer-like conditions on Friday and Saturday, and it may hold for the next week or two. We'll get a little bit into that over the next few minutes. Well, let's start off by looking at the radar this morning. This is from WSI's and telecast.com. Some shower activity in the Mid-Atlantic right now, and it's still cold enough for some snow up across the Great Lakes and into the southeastern part of Canada. While we do have summer-like conditions coming to much of the eastern U.S. by the end of the week, we have another very impressive cold air mass on the way. We have a cold frontal system pressing in from the north and west. It'll cross through the Mid-Atlantic region today, and frost will be possible late tonight and again late tomorrow night in the I-95 corridor region. Again, we expect another cold air outbreak. Temperatures dropping at overnight hours into the 30s in many areas, and again, have to watch out for sensitive vegetation. You may want to protect those again for the next two mornings. This is one more cold air mass that we have to go through, and again, a cold front is causing some instability in the northeastern quadrant of the nation today with scattered showers, and it turns quite cold again tonight and again tomorrow night. Well, let's take a look at the ensemble run of the GFS in terms of the 850 millibar temperature anomalies averaged out over a 5-day period, and we'll see this transition from below normal conditions now to above normal conditions in terms of temperature as it turns out by the end of this week and right through the upcoming weekend, and perhaps extending for the next week or two. A little too early to say how far out into the future this summer-like pattern will last. Certainly you've had cases in the past where we flipped from a winter-like cold pattern to a summer-like pattern and stayed summer-like for a sustained period of time. 1977 is an example year where something like that happened. In fact, we had an unusual snowstorm in May in New England that particular year, 1977, and pretty much flipped to a summer-like pattern that was for a sustained period of time just a week or two later. Now here's the current 5-day period, and again we have this cold air mass coming, a reinforcing shot of cold air for the next few nights here, and again we may want to protect any sensitive vegetation, not only for late tonight and the possibility of frost, but also for late tomorrow night and the possibility of frost throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., especially in the normally colder areas. Now let's move forward here and watch what happens here. Here we go by, this is now days 3 to 7, which encompasses May 13th to May 18th. Look at that flip here. This is averaging near normal at this particular 5-day stretch in the Mid-Atlantic region, but that just continues to intensify in terms of a change, and by Friday afternoon We'll be in the 80s in D.C., Philadelphia, probably New York City as well. Again, frost is possible the next couple of nights, but by Friday and Saturday, maybe Sunday as well, we may see the 80s in the I-95 corridor region. With that warm-up will come a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Let's keep moving forward and here all the way out to days 9 to 13, 10 to 14, 11 to 15, and this goes all the way out to May 22nd to May 27th time period, much above normal in the eastern two-thirds of the nation. So again, we go from this winter-like chill over the past weekend to summer-like warmth at the end of this work week, and it probably hangs on for quite a while here. Well, now let's take a look at the 500 millibar height anomalies, and as you would guess, we go from below normal heights to a strong ridging in the middle and upper part of the atmosphere during this period as we warm up here in the central and eastern U.S. This is the same kind of a map sequence here with an average over a 5-day period. This is a current 5-day period. Below normal heights throughout the northern U.S. Watch what happens as we move into the later part of this week and then the weekend and into next week. A ridge builds up in the central and eastern U.S. and intensifies. That, of course, will lead to that warmer and warmer temperature pattern as well as we just saw here. Now here days 9 to 13, 10 to 14, all the way out into the time period May 21st to May 26th, and we go all the way out here all the way to May 22nd and May 27th here. Still a ridge in the eastern part of the U.S. And there are a couple of troughs around. Notice how in southwestern states and one off of New England. We'll have to watch for that. It's certainly not set in stone yet that this ridging in the east stays around right into the month of June. There very well could be kind of a backward time here where we get cooler again here towards the latter part of the month of May, but certainly a change at the end of this week through the weekend and into next week from cool weather the next couple of nights to summer-like warmth by the end of the week. Well, let's wrap up with the operational run of the GFS at 6C, and we have some showers right now. In fact, the GFS is kind of underplaying this. There's certainly some showers now in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania, and again, a reinforcing shot of cold air on the way here. Let's move forward here. Low pressure moves up into New England by late today and swings a cold front right through the Mid-Atlantic region. We'll see again kind of an intensification, not like on Saturday, but an intensification of the northwest winds behind this frontal system. And temperatures tonight will drop way down into the 30s along the I-95 corridor. Frost will be possible towards morning, especially in suburban areas to the north and west of the big cities. Stays breezy and chilly on Tuesday, and then one more night where we have to potentially encounter some frost late tomorrow night into early Wednesday in the I-95 corridor region throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. So again, if you have sensitive vegetation, you may want to protect that vegetation over the next couple of nights. Then we get into the warm-up here in this high pressure. Once it moves off the east coast here by Thursday, we'll be off to the races. Transition day on Thursday from the chill of Wednesday, perhaps the frost early in the day on Wednesday, much milder on Thursday, and then downright summer-like warmth by the time we get to Friday. Again, expecting the 80s on Friday in much of the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. Look at this flow of air. Again, winds flow parallel to these isobars. This is on the backside of a high, kind of like a Bermuda high by the end of the week. That'll funnel in some very, very warm air. And again, the 70s and 80s, very likely by the end of the work week. With that warm-up will come a chance of showers and thunderstorms on both Friday and Saturday. It certainly stays quite warm on Saturday. Look at this here. This is a feature off the eastern seaboard. We'll have to monitor that, a potential tropical feature here that we'll have to monitor at the end of the week and going into the upcoming weekend. So the bottom line is one more cold air outbreak to deal with here in the Mid-Atlantic region, in the Northeast U.S., in the Great Lakes region, and the Midwest. Possibility of some frost late tonight and again late tomorrow night. and then a big warm-up comes, especially on the day Friday. Looks like the 80s for Friday and Saturday in D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.